But when I've shown Synthia in the past, the most common question I get is, where are you going to take this next? And I've thought a lot about direction features and functionality that I could add, rhythm tracks, support for vocals, more instruments, improved pattern recognition. And if I had a lot more time to spend, I'd probably add those. But I don't have that time. I treat this as a hobby, and I want payoff. And the path that caught my attention for this round is play. Throughout the process of creating the synthesizer and Synthia, I constantly considered this question. Who is the composer? Who is the conductor? Who is the musician? Who can be said to be playing this music, right? Those are fun on an intellectual level. Actually, as you get into code and you're trying to write some classes that make sense, right? It's actually really important to consider. You have to think, what does musician.as have to do versus composer.as? Right? These roles actually matter. But from an intellectual perspective, who is playing? And I couldn't answer it, really. I couldn't. That's one reason why the code's a mess, right? One thing that was clear is I wanted to create an experience that was super easy and simple and just worked and create a unique musical track, and that got it. But by doing so, I created an experience that people use rather than play. Right? People want to play music. It's sort of engaging what I showed you, but isn't it going to be way more engaging to play it? Right? In just the same sense that the Wii, there's a whole class of people for whom the Wii is way more fulfilling and engaging than the PS3, even though the PS3 has supercomputer-powered video graphics cards in it. Right? There's certain people who want more emotionality, who want more physicality as part of the whole experience. But with that version of Synthia, you couldn't play Synthia like a real instrument. So for the next version, wouldn't it be fun to create something that could be said to be played, like the theremin? Here, a picture demonstrated by Leon Theremin, the creator. If you've never heard of the theremin, well, he's playing one right now, and I'd say something like 63% of movies made in the 50s have a theremin soundtrack. Why did I think this was going to be a fun direction? Well, like I just said, the Wii. It's going to be fun to play. So in this next version, I wanted to create a musical instrument that could be said to be played by the user. Perhaps something similar to the theremin, but in the original spirit of Synthia and Ludi. The easiest way is to have someone play software, right? Keyboard, mouse, and webcam. And one of those is fun, right? So my direction was pretty clear. I demonstrated Synthia in Amsterdam, FITC Amsterdam earlier this year, and I had a version that allowed you to take a picture in the exhibit hall and translate that to music and send it to friends. So I already had a webcam port. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if the webcam continued to influence the music over time instead of just setting the track up front? Right? So what I ended up doing, as you see pictured here, is keeping the same Synthia algorithm in place, but just having the motion. I apply the webcam image to the image, right? So it's the same width and height. And then when it's time to play a note, which corresponds to a physical area of the image, I look how much motion is going on the webcam under this part of the image. And that controls the volume. There. Oh, oops, wrong one. Sorry. Nope, still wrong. So first you have to select a picture. And now Synthia is going to ask permission to look at you. Okay, stop moving. What happened? There we go. So if you stand motionless, and this isn't a finished version, so I didn't tweak out the audio. You know, it sounds a little weird when there's no volume. But, right, and if I only want one side of the image to play, I just move on that side of the image, right, or at the bottom of the image. So using motion from the webcam was a quick win, but it also felt very two-dimensional, right? We're tapping on a very flat sheet to influence the music when there's so much more potential information to be gained from our human interactions. So I figured adding a sense of distance to to Synthia would be a great way, another great way to enhance the environmental interactivity, bringing motion in sensing bringing Synthia into 3 dimensions with motion sensing. But getting distance from Synthia's one-eyed sight is difficult. You know, Brent Skinner could probably do it, but not me. So the easiest way to do that is to add some distance sensors to her, which I did with a Make controller board. And again, just to get things done quickly, the easiest way to have these new sensors influence the music was through volume. But I realized, after some initial tests, that it would be really powerful to be able to alter the tempo of the music as well while it's playing back. And, you know, I thought a bend sensor would work pretty well for that. Pardon me, it's not a perfected design. And I figured the only way to make that bend sensor usable was to attach it to my hand, and so I made this glove. And then I attached the motion sensors that I'd already made to the glove, and I figured, well, I already have this glove, and I have 5 more open ports on my Make board, so I threw in some more buttons. And this is, that's only 1 instrument you heard. That's 2 instruments you heard, right, just by turning my hand over. So now, I can hopefully be said to be playing these. Oh, let me go full screen. And you can see, by the way, when you look online, the live version of Synthia, I put indicators in for the key and the BPM and which notes are playable and so forth. Okay, but now let's play. So some of these buttons, one of them, this could be very dramatic, I imagine, right? You start a show like that, then you let go, and it starts playing. Boom, right? And I put in the ability to suppress progressions, which what it does in human speak is return to the original musical phrase. And then I put in the ability to suppress rests so that it'll play every note. And the distance of your hand, right? And I can speed it up. Oops, throwing my board around. I actually just finished this last week, so I don't know how to play this version of Synthia yet so well. It takes a little getting used to. But because I used that previous version of Synthia that I created as the core, it's always going to sound good. Because that was the starting principle of Synthia, right? Was that it's going to just sound good without any effort. Now you have to put in effort to making it sound the way you want, to play the music that you want to play. And it's not just the webcam, it's everything together. And you'll have to take my word for it. This is a way more fun version of Synthia to play. Not the version you can play online, unfortunately, because this won't be in stores until December. But you can still have fun with the live version of Synthia.